Please get ready for a dictation of a news item from Hindustan Times dated 6th May, page 10. It is titled, China Must Come Clean on COVID-19. 5 seconds. Start. China insists it has been fully transparent and hidden nothing on the killer coronavirus disease whose international spread from Wuhan has turned into the greatest disaster of our time. So why is Beijing opposing an independent international inquiry into the origins and spread of the virus? The lethal virus emanated from China, leading to a paralyzing pandemic whose costs are immeasurable. Is it unreasonable for the world to want to know how and why it happened? Investigating the genesis of the pandemic is critical for another reason. This is not the first deadly disease to spread globally from China. A Chinese cover-up of 2002-2003 severe acute respiratory syndrome outbreak triggered the world's first 21st century pandemic. Getting to the bottom of how the latest pathogen flared up and spread is essential for designing rapid response efforts to prevent a future outbreak from spiraling into yet another pandemic. Even the World Health Organization agrees. This is the organization whose repeated deference to Beijing since December helped China to cover its tracks. Several countries now want an inquiry to focus on the roles of both China and WHO. The WHO representative in China has said the origins of the virus are very important to prevent reoccurrence. Yet Beijing has shut out even WHO from its national COVID-19 investigations. United States President Donald Trump has offered China an incentive for cooperation by contrasting a mistake with willful action. If it was a mistake is a mistake. But if they were knowingly responsible, then sure, there should be consequences. Beijing, however, has shied away from answering even basic questions. For example, why did China stop flights from Wuhan to the rest of the country after the COVID-19 outbreak, yet allowed international flights to operate from Wuhan, thus facilitating the global spread of the virus? Why did it clamp down recently on further research by Chinese scientists into the origins of the virus? It instituted a new policy mandating prior vetting after several Chinese research papers highlighted dangerous work on bat coronaviruses, with one study concluding that the killer coronavirus probably originated from a laboratory in Wuhan. Authorities shut a Shanghai laboratory a day after its publication of the coronavirus genome opened the global path to diagnostic tests. China refused to share any live virus sample with the world, making it impossible to track the disease evolution. To quote US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, the dangerous lab research in Wuhan may explain why China, instead of sharing any coronavirus sample, destroyed its lab samples. Just think, if China was not guilty of any cover up, would not it be welcoming the growing international calls for an independent inquiry and offering to assist in such a probe? This would give China a chance to clear the air with the rest of the world. Instead, Beijing seems to be showcasing its guilt by belligerently rejecting the pleas for such an inquiry and threatening economic reprisals. Australia is Exhibit A. The country is more economically tied with China than with its security patron, the US. Yet Australia has come under a blistering attack from China for proposing that WHO member nations support an independent inquiry into the origins and spread of the coronavirus. Australia said it will push for such an investigation at the WHO Assembly when it convenes for its annual meeting on May 17. In response, the Chinese ambassador to Australia threatened punishment through Chinese boycotts of Australian wine, beef, and tourism and education sectors. Stop.